Coming to you from Music City, Nashville, Tennessee, this is the Quinn Spinn. Hey now, and welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, one and all, to a brand new edition of the Quinn Spinn. I'm your host, Quinn. I'm back here on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor, Stitcher, YouTube, and more for another rousing and riveting installment of the official podcast of Underground Music Collective. You just heard Revel 9's All I Become at the top of the show. That's been our opening theme song here at the Quinn Spinn since the great year of 2014, and it will be into 2023 and until the very end of days. And we are concluding 2022 on the interview set anyway. In style today, you'll notice a member of our OG fam here with us, but live and in person, made the trip up. JD joining us here on the show.
The new Zoom update looks incredible.
It does.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's almost like what Mark Zuckerberg is trying to do with the metaverse.
Yeah.
Like Zoom beat you to it, Mark. Sorry for you.
Yeah, Zoom really, they definitely upped their game. They definitely glue up.
It's quite the glow up, and also quite the glow up on stage.
Yeah.
We're festive tonight.
We are festive. I mean, it's
the
holiday season, you know.
Time is an illusion.
So instead of the ferns, we pulled these lights in from the lobby in there, and decided to get a little festive here on set.
I almost died. Yeah,
it's true. Yeah. Do you want to explain what happened there?
Well, like, you were carrying the taller one, and right on cue. The notorious train.
Yeah, the
sounds
train
already.
Yep, the train's making an appearance.
No, you were carrying in the taller one behind me, and the bottom part of it, part of the stem, just fell off.
Yep.
So Christmas was canceled for a brief bit.
I was dismayed. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little. It was a scary situation, but luckily, I stepped in, helped out, and because of the way there's varying ceiling levels coming into here, and I had to get it underneath a doorway. So I basically just started walking like, I don't know, the Geico caveman.
Yeah, it was like a hybrid of like the Grinch and like a Temple Guard from Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Yeah,
that's how I would describe it, because you were stealing Christmas to bring it in here, but you were also kind of doing this crouch walk, like you were hunting.
Very much, yeah. And basically, we saved Christmas. So you are welcome.
Like you were hunting some blue barracudas, or silver snakes,
or
green monkeys.
I was thinking something more Christmassy. I was hunting like ham.
Whose? Because you're the Grinch.
Yeah, or like a fruitcake.
Have I ever had fruitcake? I don't even know.
No, the answer is no. Even if you've had it, you've never had it because it's awful.
It just wiped out my memory.
I'm sorry if you're a fan of fruitcake. By the way, this is already off the rails.
It is off the rails. This is the Off the Rails with JD.
This is holy cow. Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. It's the Wild West. Why would the rules be different from Zoom to here?
I don't know. Like I almost feel like I'm not. I don't know where I'm going with this, but like it's almost like
because we're on set that there are different rules.
Well, it's almost like you're trying to do something. You're trying to build something with the show, and like what we do with Scotty Rock and myself. Yes, you're building something, but it's also kind of more zany. And like, so it almost feels like when I'm stepping inside these doors.
No.
Yeah, no.
Don't feel like you have to be any different. It's all part of the Quinn Spinn. Our worlds are colliding, if nothing else here.
That is true. It is the crossover that you never thought you'd get.
The crossover you didn't know you needed.
Yeah.
But that you can't live without.
And you deserve.
Yeah, you definitely deserve it.
You deserve it.
There are many different facets to the show. Of course, there's the Zoom episodes, which are an homage to our origins as the OG Quinn Spinn family. There are the shows we do on this set. There are the other interviews I do over Zoom. And they're all part of the same story. They're all part of the same lineage. And our worlds, again, are colliding here today. So
Don't forget your solo missions.
And the solo missions. I forgot about those. Yeah. There's going to be a solo mission coming out next week.
The most important part of the Quinn Spinn is Quinn.
I guess. I mean,
well, is it?
I don't know.
You do a really good job of highlighting others.
Yeah.
I got to give you credit for that. Like, let's be a little mushy for a second. I'm a very mushy person. And
it's the right time of year for that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And, the way that you build others up and promote their stuff and just, are helping out in a place that I haven't been here too much, but especially the building that you're in too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, the work y'all do, I really like because it's all about building others up.
Exactly. Well, I mean, that's what it's about. Plus, it's way more interesting when it's not just me talking to the camera.
True.
I mean, the numbers don't lie. I mean, more people tend to watch or listen when there's a guest as opposed to just me. You know?
Really?
Yeah. Oh,
That
yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, because you know how much you need to hear me talk. You hear me talk on literally every single episode. Literally every single one.
But I mean, you got to get spun somehow.
Yeah. I mean, no matter what, you're always going to get spun one way or another.
Yeah.
You know, is it with a guest? Most of the time.
And this is as OG as you can get.
This is
literally OG, and we'll probably talk about that a little bit more. Let's.
Yeah. Well, let's first, before we go even further off the rails, the 3 standard questions, which now that you're on set, you need to answer.
Yeah, I haven't had to answer these until now.
Yeah. So here they are. Who are you? What are your passions? And why on earth would you want to come on the Quinn Spinn?
Well, my name is Jason DeShong. That's it. But to give some more context, you and I are high school friends.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We've been friends since high school and doing choir.
Shout out to Dr.
Theater
Rufino.
stuff. Yeah.
Dr. Rufino.
So.
B-Wags.
And I am back when you had your very first Quinn Spinn on the radio at your college,
which will never see the light of day.
You needed a guest host, and I was the first ever one.
You were.
So that's me, Jason DeShong, the OGest of OG. Well, I mean, you're the OG, obviously, because it's Quinn.
Well, yeah, but I mean, of guests or guest hosts.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's 1. 2. What are my passions? We'll get into this more. Kind of a work in progress. It's weird. I know that sounds really weird that it's a work in progress. Passions. It's kind of like I find out in the moment. But I don't know. I like strategy stuff. I love playing like strategy games and like thinking or just, critical thinking stuff. I don't know. That sounds really corny, but
it's your passion. It's not corny. It's your passion.
I just really like exercising my mind. That's really it. And then 3. So, not only why on earth would I even come here? Why on earth? Because I don't live here.
Right.
We're in Nashville, Tennessee, in case y'all don't know if you're listening. Not only do I not live here, I drove 4 hours to be here.
Yes, you did.
I live in Atlanta, Georgia. I drove 4 hours to be here. So, but at the same time, we're high school friends.
Yeah.
This was a long time coming. We talked about this, 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Coming here.
Yep.
And we didn't even talk about, doing a podcast episode. It was more so just me coming to Nashville.
Yeah.
To hang out with you. And this is 3 years in the making.
Yeah. And the seeds for this were further planted on our most recent OG Fam episode when I was up with Scotty and Elle and we were on Zoom.
That's right.
And you had mentioned you had an idea. And
yes.
It's like, let's talk about that idea. And then we'll go to a Titans game, which, well, as of recording, we're going to the Titans game tomorrow. The game will have already happened, when you see and hear this.
Yeah, so if you check the scores of the Titans-Jaguars game in December, you'll either know if I'm happy or sad because I am actually a legitimate Titans fan.
And I'm a new Titans fan because I didn't want to root for the Dolphins when Stephen Ross started trying to bribe Brian Flores to lose games.
And how much of a change of pace is this to not have somebody that isn't a music artist?
Yeah, we've been spreading our wings a little bit more, a little beyond music. I mean, we're a music-centric podcast. We've always been, in one way or another. But a couple weeks ago, we had Lauren Gomez on, who is a licensed therapist and yoga instructor. But, here in Nashville, you can't be in Nashville and not, have some adjacence to the music industry,
I will say, though, there has been a song that I made that did show up on the Quinn Spinn.
That was the closing credits song for quite a while. Yes.
Yeah, but let's not talk about that song anymore. It is not aged well.
Let's just retire muffins from
just like the food itself. Muffins don't age well, and neither did my song.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was though. Muffins was the closing theme song of the Quinn Spinn of pretty much of the entire run until I moved here. And then,
I'm sorry.
I mean,
You know, your third question is why on earth would you come on the Quinn Spin? My third question is why on earth would you make my song Muffins your closing song for so long?
I thought you were going to say, why on earth would I? Because I need to apologize for muffins. You know,
yes, that's all this podcast episode is a public apology for me making the song Muffins.
But you know, breakfast isn't complete without a homemade treat.
Yeah.
A blueberry muffin, really juicy and sweet.
Yeah. I'm not going to finish the rest of it.
I'm trying to remember the rest so I can.
That's the part that didn't age well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm remembering it now.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
You're right. See if you can find a long lost episode and find that out for yourself.
Yeah.
But anyway, so, well, thank you for being on the show, for being here. And yes, you were the OG guest on the Quinn Spin way back at Moravian University now.
Oh, it's a university now.
Yeah, they glue up as well. Moravian University. And we talked about this on that last OG Fam episode. You should go watch it. It's actually one of our most popular episodes of the year.
Sorry, it's the lights are bothering me because there's just so many glow ups everywhere.
Yeah, it's pretty. we got to wear shades. We got to wear shades on the stage.
Yeah, because our futures are so bright.
It is. Yes, exactly. Yes, they are. But yeah, so I forget where I was going with that.
I don't know.
I'm not editing this.
Moravian, it's a university
it's
now.
A university
rather than
now.
A college, and
you drove
OG
an hour.
days.
You drove an hour and a half to be on that episode.
Yeah, I did that too. Yeah.
Yep.
Had some of the best grilled cheeses of my life in your cafeteria.
Yep. Yep. We already raved about Moravian's dining services on that episode, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, we did. That's right.
Yeah.
I raved about the grilled cheeses again.
Yeah. I rewatched that episode probably a week or two ago, and it's a good one.
I gotta find it.
Like, I gotta say, like, it's a good episode. Like, it's funny. Like,
So you actually have the file?
It's on YouTube. No. I meant the last one that we did with Scotty.
Oh! I thought you meant the one in Moravian.
I do remember that one being particularly good. When I was listening to old episodes to gain inspiration when we started the show, that one was on the short list of, this is really good.
That might be, it might be on a laptop or two ago. I might have it. I might have to do a dive and try to find it.
Or is the world ready? Are you ready out there for prehistoric Quinn Spinn?
You're never going to be ready.
Yeah, I don't
ever.
know. I don't think I'm ready for that to see the light of day, but we'll listen to it. I do remember it being good. And it wasn't that inappropriate.
No.
Compared to some of the other.
But ultimately, it was fun.
It was fun.
It was a lot of fun.
It was fun. And it's what gave us the start here. That's why we're sitting here in Nashville, Tennessee, in the year of our Lord, 2022, on this very stage.
Speaking of 2022.
Yes. Speaking of 2022, we're coming to the end of the year.
See, I can bring the show back on the rails.
You brought it back on the rails.
See?
Yeah.
I have that talent too.
Yeah, it worked. But we've been in a year in review, reflective kick here on the show over the past few weeks. And with that comes, an assessment of the things we've learned, of the places we've been and the places we hope to go. And so we thought it'd be a good time to dive into that, one-on-one here on the interview set. And so, Jason, I ask you, what have you learned in 2022 about life, about your role in it, about the world itself?
I mean, it really just comes down to two words. Life's messy. Like, and I think that was always something that I knew, and I'm sure that's something that, people out there know, but I think it really kind of, what's the word I'm thinking of? Like showed up or materialized,
yeah,
in my life this year.
Yeah.
Both with myself and with people around me. That we're all just, especially in a post COVID world, I think, the messiness of life really didn't people, I think, were kind of, at least I was kind of just pushing it down. And now it's really more apparent.
Yeah.
And people are talking about it. And people are, kind of, hopefully, showing compassion towards others about it.
Yeah.
But just life's fucking messy.
It is.
I'm gonna drop an F-bomb because it really.
Go for it. This is the Wild West.
It's messy.
Yeah.
I don't know. Has someone asked you?
Yeah. I mean, we, Lauren and I, when Lauren was on the show a couple weeks ago, we talked a lot about just the year, the journey of it, the things we've learned. And that's definitely something that that resonates with me is we're all dealing with our own mess. We're all dealing with we're all dealing with baggage and hangups, from previous points in life, and trying to show up the best we can going forward. And that looks different for everybody. Like my journey is not your journey, is not the next person's, is not the next person's, is not the next person's. And I think with that understanding, and to your point, I think COVID's really exposed a lot of that. I think it makes it not only easier, but more important than ever to show compassion toward other people, because it really did come out in a lot of ugly ways in 2020, 2021 in society, and when we were all left to our own devices, I think it was a point for all of us to kind of face the things that we had been stuffing down, right? I know that's true for me. I know I've talked about that on the show plenty of times, and just in general, just talked about that in conversation about how, like, when you're sitting and you don't have all the bells and whistles of what Nashville is when it's humming, like, you're just kind of assessing your situation, assessing what you want to carry forward with you, assessing what you don't want to carry forward with you. And it informs you, but it also wakes you up and scares you in a lot of ways, because you realize the ways that you need to change, and, ever since then, for me, it's been this process of changing, evolving, identifying my hangups, identifying my baggage, identifying the ways that I need to show up better for myself, for the business, so I can build all of this in what I want to build it into, so I can build life into what I want to build it into. And it comes with that facing down of, all the things that are more convenient to ignore.
Yeah.
Right. And I think, in the society, we have so many distractions right now, whether digital, whether, other vices, ways to keep ourselves distracted from doing that work. And I'm glad to hear more conversations taking place now, about doing that work, and the transparency about mental health, about, the journeys, the struggles that we've been on. It's no longer taboo to bring it up. Even 5-10 years ago, like, I've had people tell me, oh, you shouldn't talk about that. People aren't going to take you seriously as an entrepreneur, as this, as that. But it's a lot more accepted now to open up about the things you struggle with, and, for me this year, really since taking the leap and going out full time, as an entrepreneur in 2021, it's really been a necessity, I think, for me to address those things, to address the ways that, to address the parts of me emotionally that were still immature, and it's not easy work at all, as anybody who's, really committed to doing that work will know, like, it's going to be very uncomfortable, but what's on the other side of that is completely worth it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that resonates for you, but
and I think, by the way, if you weren't anticipating an episode like this, like, put your seatbelt on, because the whole reason, and I should talk about the idea that I gave you, that because I feel like we both are kind of going through the same type of life right now, that we're doing something kind of unorthodox now, but the life that we're living presently, I think, is two polar opposites. Like, you're going out there as an entrepreneur, you're going out there, just, in my mind, absolutely crushing it.
Well, thank you. It doesn't always feel that way, for the record. It might look that way, but there are definitely nights where I'm like looking at the ceiling, like, what am I doing? What did I get myself into?
No, I think you're absolutely crushing it.
Well, I appreciate that.
So you're doing all that. Meanwhile, I'm kind of, my full-time job at this point is really mental health, and, like, I'll get into that a little bit more, but just, like, it's like I said, life's just messy, and it's just like, you think you think you're gonna live one life, and you end up living a completely different one,
right?
And I feel like that's that's probably true, and this is a complete assumption, but that might be true for like 80% of people.
Right.
There's going to be things in life that you thought are going to happen that just don't. Like, I don't even use my damn college degree. Like, just at the baseline.
Right.
Like, I have a degree in record production and audio engineering, and I look at that mixer that you've got. I don't know what all those knobs do anymore. I used to. I could probably figure it out, but like, I don't do any of that anymore. You know, we both worked office jobs.
Yep.
That we both no longer work at. And that's kind of where my story kind of begins, but we can get into that a little bit.
Yeah.
A bit.
One thing I want to touch on that you said is you think you're going to live one life and you end up living an entirely different life. I've even found it to be you think you're going to live one life, but you live multiple different lives along the course of
that's a good point.
Time. You know, like there have been so many stops on this road for me where it's like, you know, I was living in Pennsylvania for a while and then I moved here. Like there have been so many pivot points, you know, where it's like, okay, this isn't working. Something about this isn't working. Let's switch this up.
Yeah.
You know, and I think recognizing that and really focusing on what would be best for you, even if it's just best for you in that moment for now, is important because that's going to light the way forward. Like you said, your full-time job right now is focusing on mental health.
Yeah.
Well, without that piece of the puzzle in place, the rest of the pieces are going to remain strewn across the table. You know what I mean? Like you need to have that anchor point, you know, to be able to put the rest of it together, you know? And I think it's important to understand where you are, accept where you are, and figure out how to move forward from there, you know, see what tools you have at your disposal right now, you know. Again, that requires you to do a lot of deep digging and a lot of hard, uncomfortable work. But I think it's, you know, there's no point in shaming ourselves for where we are. You know, wherever that is along the journey, because it's where we are. It's the truth of the matter.
And one of the tools that I have that seems so unique and is the reason why I'm sitting here right now, because this is the idea that I had proposed to you, is that I have been dealing, and, you know, strap yourselves in, y'all. Like, if y'all are in a bad state of mind right now, maybe come back to this later because it's going to get a bit heavy. But like I've struggled with depression and anxiety since I was in 7th grade. For reference, I'm 34 years old now. And with how much I have been in therapy, like I've been in therapy since 7th grade too. I've taken medication since 7th grade. With how much I've been in therapy, with how much I've had to deal with it, how much it has affected me, I'm in this really unique position that it's, and I say that, and now I'm, you know, sitting on a fucking stage with a podcast that's about to go out to the internet
with these lovely Christmas decorations.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, how open am I actually gonna be in this moment when like it's actually like happening now? But you know, it's I feel like it's really hard to talk about mental health and depression, and for some reason it just comes easily to me. I'm not afraid to be vulnerable about it. I'm not afraid to talk about it, and I think that's something that's really unique with people that are like in it. Like I think we hear from a lot of people about their struggles and about, you know, depression and anxiety and everything under the mental health sun, but it's almost like you hear about it after the fact. Yeah, they might still struggle with it from time to time, but it really seems like they've gotten their shit together.
Yeah.
And I'm not even close to having my shit together. Like I said, my full-time job is mental health. That's because I don't have a fucking job. And I had to sell my condo and move back in with my parents because of financial stuff, because it's gotten to the point where my depression was so bad. Like it's, the doctor that I see now said it's chronic. And it's because I spent, I'd probably say from the time I had my full-time job, had office job, um, from until about, summer of 2016, I had depression, but like my awareness of like how I was doing
Mhm.
mentally,
Yeah.
my awareness was just awful.
Mhm.
So, I wasn't cognizant of this, but I was, pushing down a lot of stuff
Yeah.
or like just not really addressing it because I wasn't aware of it all.
Right.
And finally in August of 2016, I snapped,
Mhm.
and that was really rock bottom. And from then, I kept working for a little bit, and it, stuff had changed um, at work to make it easier for me, but I couldn't. Um, I ended up not being able to do it. Like I'd have a multiple, at least one panic attack a day, maybe two or more. Um, just constant suicidal thoughts, and just it to the point where I'm like, I gotta leave.
Mhm.
I gotta do something. And now um I'm doing some neurological treatments and therapy, and um not a medical professional. I don't recommend any of this stuff. Do what's
Right.
best for you, but this is what I've been doing for myself.
Yeah.
So like when I really mean like my full-time job is mental health, like I am going to an office,
Mhm.
sitting in a chair, connecting my brain to a computer, and like trying to get it regulated.
Mhm.
Like that's I really do mean. And then I go to therapy once a week. Like I really do truly mean like that is my full-time job, is getting better, because it's such a serious bout of mental illness that um I I don't think there's very many people in the world that have it as badly as me. And I don't say that as like a flex or like,
Mhm.
but it's just like it's another term that they use, treatment resistant
Mhm.
depression.
Right.
So because I know people, and this is the holiday season too, so seasonal depression's out there, and I'm sure people are struggling this time of year too. But I just really thought that there was a power and a strength to hear from somebody that's still in it.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's, just such a unique, I say it's a gift, but is it really a gift when I had to go through all this shit? But,
I think in a way it is though.
yeah,
It becomes being able to open up about it and talk about it and not stuff it down is a superpower in a way,
yeah,
because not everybody's able to embrace it in that way, and be able to accept this part of themselves to the level that they are willing to share it, you know.
yeah. And just like another thing that I deal with so much is shame.
Mm-hmm.
And just like the shame of telling somebody, yeah, I'm 34 years old and I don't have a job and I live with my parents. Like that's the stereotypical loser.
Mm.
And it's just like, well, I'm not content with that situation.
Right.
That's not what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Right.
But it's where I'm at right now, and
Mm-hmm.
I need to tell myself that it's okay. And like, so if you're not where you want to be, it's okay,
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
life's messy.
Yeah. And I think too, and not to jump in, but one thing I'm really encouraged by is that this definition that we've held for so long in society of what makes a man, what makes a successful man, what makes a successful person, it's not so rigid anymore. And as we come, I think, to understand, I mean, we still have a lot of work to do societally in that regard,
Yeah.
but as we come to understand the different things that we as human beings struggle with, I think this kind of conversation is helpful. This sense of ownership in the moment, because to your point, there's so much of this is how I beat this, and you can do it too in this guru space that I can't stand. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I look at what I overcame. Look at how great I am now. Like the fact of the matter is, even if you've overcome something, there's going to be something else to overcome.
Yeah.
And the things you've overcome in the past will hopefully give you the blueprint for how to overcome the things that will arise.
And not to cut you off,
No,
but
go
I
for
did
it.
cut you off, literally.
Just like the drivers in Nashville. Hey now.
Oh, Jesus.
Sorry, I had to.
Uh,
I'm taking it off the
there
rails.
was-
The
no.
tables have turned.
That's true. That train over there doesn't have anywhere to go because you just derailed everything. No, you know, I was.
Oh, no.
I was, you know what I was thinking as I like just talked about all this shit, and then like you know, added your own stuff. I was thinking to myself while you were talking, I'm like, I know we said last night that we're gonna like try to find a way to weave some comedy or some funny ha-has in there, and we got there.
We got there.
eventually. We got there.
We'll continue to get there.
We got there. Yeah. We got. No, I don't even remember what the hell I was trying to say. Yes. I don't remember what I was trying to. You were talking about how
society's perceptions are changing.
Yes, and how you know it's tough for men to talk about mental health, and
especially for men. I think there's this stigma, of
Yeah.
like, quote unquote weakness if you're open about this kind of thing. I've been told myself like, oh, don't talk about going through that until after. Tell people how you beat it. Inspire people then. No. People need to know that, like, again, it might look good out there, but like, this is a mess sometimes.
Yeah.
My experience is my experience, which is different from your experience, which is, we've made that point already on the show. But it's like, we all have our messes that we're dealing with. There is no perfect person. There is no person on earth with perfect mental health.
No.
And we need to break down that idea that exists, because it doesn't, and it's a harmful idea.
And I remembered what I was gonna say.
Go for it.
Yeah, I used to think when I was younger, I told myself, I'm like, okay, one of these days I'll be cured. One of these days I'll be cured. Almost like it's a switch that gets flipped.
Right.
And for me, it's not. That's the other thing too. Like I've learned in therapy is like, I always want to come from things from my perspective and say like, for me, it's not a switch. Like not say it is a switch. Because it might not be, but for me, it's a switch.
Yeah.
Or it's not a switch that just gets flipped. It's, it's dynamic. It's not a switch. It's a fader.
It's a fader.
See what I did with the mixer? There's a mixer right there. And it's got faders on it.
Look at that. All that
It's
production stuff's coming back.
Yeah,
now.
it's not 0 or 1 or binary. I'm a fucking nerd. I need it's 0 or 127, that's an audio thing too.
See, it's coming back.
Yeah,
See, you're getting inspired by your environment right now.
Yeah, Bloomfield College in New Jersey. I did remember some shit during the classes. So,
but to your point, it's not linear.
No,
it's
not.
Nobody's journey, no journey is linear. In my opinion, speaking from my experience, like, you're going to have those ups and downs. You're going to have those good days and bad. Sometimes it'll be more good. Sometimes it's going to rain more than the sun shines.
Sometimes the train horn goes off twice during a show. Sometimes the train horn goes off 10 times during a show.
And sometimes it goes off 0 times.
Has that ever happened?
I don't know.
It didn't happen now because we were like 30 seconds in.
Yeah, we don't know if you could hear that, but we call it the rude ass train because it just like barrels.
I didn't know that's what you called it.
That's what I call it. So story time, and then we'll get back to what we're actually here to talk about. But I was on the phone with my friend Kim one night when I was living here in East Nashville, and I was sitting on the porch, and I lived really close to that train, which I don't know if you could actually hear out there.
Oh, it's the same track?
Yeah, I mean, there are a bunch that run through, but I'm pretty sure it's the same one.
Okay.
And so I'm sitting on a porch, and like, I live really close, and it's just so loud. And she's like, is that a train? I'm like, yeah. She's like, it sounds like it's right in your backyard. Like, it was like blaring. And every time we try to continue the conversation, we just hear like the Venga bus is coming through town.
The Venga train.
The Venga train was coming. And like
their last album went platinum. They got more money to buy a train.
There we go. And like for 5 minutes straight, we keep trying to continue the conversation. The train horn blares through. We laugh about it. And then when we're ready to pick up conversation, here comes the train horn again. So, ever since then, I've known it as the rude ass train.
The rude ass train.
Because it's rude. It's interrupting conversations.
What's ruder, the train or the drivers of Nashville?
The drivers. 100%. I've talked about this many times. I'm not afraid.
Yikes.
I'm not afraid to admit this. Y'all need to put your headlights on when you're driving at night. That's a PSA. I've seen an alarming number of people driving without their lights on in this city since daylight savings time ended.
I mean, I didn't see any of that as I was coming here.
Give it a couple days. You will.
I'm leaving Monday.
It won't take long.
I'm not gonna be here a couple days.
It won't take long. Trust me. When I was coming back from my trip north earlier this year, as soon as I got off the highway by my exit, I'm just sitting there waiting for the light to turn. The opposite light turns red, and of course I see somebody fly through it. I'm like, "Yep, welcome back to Nashville." All the time, because most of the lights don't have cameras, so they're gonna get away with it.
That happens in Atlanta too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Although the interesting thing about Atlanta is that you can be driving on a road, stay straight, and the name of the road changes.
Yep. Oh, that happens here too.
Wait, really?
There's some of those.
Is that like a South thing then?
Yeah, I think so.
Is that's never like that in New Jersey?
I think so. And then you'll have like 4 different little roads of the same name. Like there's like a, something place, something street, something court, all near each other, and it's really confusing.
Oh, like Peachtree?
Yeah.
Like the million different million different peach trees in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Old Hickory's that here. There are like 4 Old Hickory turnpikes.
Yeah, ours is Peachtree and Piedmont.
Yep.
And the weirdest thing about driving in New Jersey was the jug handles.
I love jug handles. I think they're an engineering marvel, and they should be everywhere.
We're talking about roads, by the way.
We are. But if we had jug handles, we'd have a lot fewer traffic problems.
Actually, hopefully I can lose my jug handles when I lose weight.
Hey now, look at that.
But yeah.
Well, we could hook you up with Coach McQuake's. You brought it up, so I brought up exercise. I didn't bring up Coach McQuake's. But he is synonymous with exercise.
Yeah,
he's the molten man, the tectonic teacher, the seismic sage.
Yeah.
Ask Scotty. His workouts really work. I mean, I've done workouts with Coach McQuake's as well.
Because you are Coach McQuake's.
That's not true.
I can't believe we're going down this road.
He has sunglasses. I don't.
I literally saw those sunglasses in your
apartment.
apartment.
Those are not the seismic shades. Did they shake the earth when you got in the car? Exactly.
I mean, those are all figures of speech. He's not actually a seismic sage or a tectonic teacher.
Whoa. You bite your tongue.
I'm literally biting my tongue.
Anyway, we'll hook you up with Coach McQuake's. We'll get you on a regimen. But that's
maybe next time.
That's not what we're here to talk about.
No, we're not.
But we went so far off the rails there.
That's fine.
Between the rude ass train, the traffic, Coach McQuake's. I don't even remember what we were talking about before that.
I mean, look, that's just one way to help with your mental health or help deal with it. Like,
is to go off the rails.
Memes.
Mm-hmm.
Literally just me. No, like just I don't know. Laughter really helps me a lot. I'm sure it helps other people a lot. And just like, just
that was one question I had for you.
Oh yeah, what's that?
Techniques to make yourself feel better. Techniques to rise above what you're dealing with. What have you laughter, of course, you mentioned. What have you found though, like really works for you?
For me, it really just comes down to one word, and that's just awareness. Like it's really kind of and obviously it's still a work in progress for me because I'm still in the middle of it and I'm not all the way where I want to be mentally, but just kind of being aware of my feelings and even stuff in your body. Like sometimes feelings can manifest physically. Like you get that, you see someone you might have a crush on, you get butterflies in your stomach. I mean, that's a physical manifestation of that.
Yeah.
But like just being aware of what I'm feeling. 'Cause a lot of times I will like have this sensation or like have this, just something in my mind that I'm thinking of, but it's not tangible yet. And I haven't really figured out why it's there. And then just kind of like, I have to work through it, almost, spend a couple of minutes and just like, okay, so where is this manifesting itself physically in my body somewhere? If it is, what was the feeling that I've had that has that same, physical manifestation? you know, it's a whole process.
Yeah.
Really, like it's a lot more detailed than than I initially thought it would be.
Yeah.
And then once I get to that point, and I figure out what I'm feeling and the thoughts behind it and all that shit, you know, then I just need to let myself feel it.
Yes. You got to sit with it.
Yeah.
You got to sit with it, because
Like,
if you don't, it will just build up.
there have been times when I have just like wept because of just this like despair that I have felt. Because, you know, it sometimes I really do feel like I'm just going to be like this forever, and just, you know, the feelings just kind of snowball from there. And,
Right.
you know, you get to that point where it's just a really, really strong feeling, and even I at that time, I don't really want to feel like that.
Yeah.
But even when it's really, really strong, like a word like despair, I still got to feel it.
Yeah.
And just like weep, not even cry, just weep. So that's another thing that I do too is, like I said, I'm not a medical professional, but
Right.
one of the types of therapy that I've done is called, it's shortened DBT, stands for dialectical behavioral therapy. And it's a series of three. It was made by Marsha Linehan. And it's a series of 3 modules that have skills associated with them. And one of them is called emotion regulation, where you basically quantify how strong your emotions are. And then you take like all the words, like, you know, anger could be fury or just frustration.
Yeah.
Or perturbed.
Understanding the specific type.
Yeah, like you might think that anger is like the word like frustrated on your scale of anger from 1 to 10 is like maybe a 2.
Right.
And then like fury is like a 10.
Yeah.
You know, so basically, like, you know, just quantifying how strong that feeling is too is very important to my awareness.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, yeah, letting yourself feel whatever it is the way to ensure that it passes through.
Yeah.
You know, because
which seems so ass backwards.
It does. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Because you'll have people tell you, well, you just need to rise above it and think positive. And no, I sound like Kermit the Frog because I'm full of shit. But it's like,
I'm not going to do a Miss Piggy impression, by the way.
I can. Miss Piggy!
I can't believe you just did that.
Yep. Off the rails again. That's my job here on this show today.
Look, like we said, we got to weave the humor
in.
We
got to. That's what I'm here for.
Like
today.
A fish.
Yeah. You're the host today. I'm the comic relief.
I don't want that responsibility.
Okay, fine. I'm the host and
You're
the
the
comic
entrepreneur. I'm not.
Okay, that's fair. But you know, like, there's no just like, I'm just gonna think positive and make this go away. You know, because sometimes you're just not in that place.
Yeah.
But by letting yourself feel it and identify it, and make peace with whatever the feeling is, you know, that's how you work it through. That's how you work it out of your system. It's not by stuffing it down. Stuffing it down is only going to cause it to manifest in different ways. Whether it's a stronger emotional reaction later on, you know, a potentially destructive one, whether it manifests in a destructive behavior, an addiction, you know, or hurting another person, hurting yourself. Like, the way to deal with it is to be in the moment with it. You know, you have all kinds of therapists and holistic teachers saying, go into your body, identify where it is, identify how it's affecting you. I just worked a 2-day presentation here running video, you know, talking about that brain, heart, gut connection through the nervous system. They're all connected, you know, and I am not a medical professional at all. I probably have much less of an understanding than you do of all of this, you know, but like, you can feel how things manifest. You can feel how stress manifests in the body. Yeah. You know, like, you know, if you're really stressed and worried, your heart rate's up. You can feel that. You know, you can feel a palpitation sometimes. You can feel it in your gut. You know, you can feel just this sense of nervousness, this fight or flight. Like, not only happens up here, it happens here. You know, like, it's all connected and it's all feedback. And it's feedback that you have to listen to. If you ignore it, then what's going to happen? It's only going to come out in a more harsh sense later on. So,
Absolutely.
you have to deal with your feelings. And that's something that, for me, raised as a boy in rural America in the 1990s and 2000s, like, we weren't taught about our feelings. I was told, toughen up my entire life. Toughen up. You need to toughen up. You need to toughen up. And where did that get me? In my 20s and not sure how to deal with my emotions.
Yeah.
And then the first half of my 30s has been actually trying to unlearn all of that and learn how to properly deal with things, And that's the thing that I think our generation has dealt with, but also gives us the chance to be the cycle breakers, is the fact that, like, there is so much research and science and just personal individual understanding about all of this now, to where it's like, okay, the way we were taught growing up in rural America, the way people are still taught growing up in rural America is not the way, and we need to be in touch with all of that. Being in touch with your emotions as a man doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you less than.
No.
If anything, it makes you more masculine, because you're able to show up as a more complete version of yourself, because you have an understanding of the whole person.
Yeah.
And you need to know yourself in order to present that to the world in a way that's going to be of benefit not only to you, but those around you. And so I think, conversations like this one, and thank you for the idea, because I think they're super important.
Yeah.
And they need to continue being had.
And the other thing that makes mental health so challenging to, I don't want to say challenging to deal with, but just like the challenge of it. I'll make it more abstract. The challenge of it is that it's really hard to see it unless somebody tells you it's there. So, like, an example I'll use, this isn't me personally, but are you familiar with Bo Burnham? Okay. I think he's a fantastic comedian. There is a song that he did at the end of one of his tours called Can't Handle This. It was the finale of his show. The video of it's on YouTube. Go check it out. But it's basically, he said in an interview after the fact, after that tour was over, he would have panic attacks on stage during the show, like literally during that song. Nobody in the crowd would have ever known, because he just kept going. There was no physical symptoms of it, nothing. He's having a panic attack on stage, still performing it incredibly, by the way. Like, that song is amazing. And then because of the anxiety that he was struggling with, he didn't go do any live shows for 5 years. And it's just like, you never would have known that about him had he not said anything.
Right.
And I think on the other side of that, I think the encouraging thing about that, at least for me, is imagine what I'm capable of if someone can be in the midst of a panic attack and still perform something so incredible as that.
We are resilient creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's, and I'll be honest with you, I had that realization right here, right now. I had never actually thought about it like that until right here, right now. Thank you. Thank you. That's the least, I don't know what the fuck I'm trying to say. that is the shortest and the probably the quietest round of applause I've ever gotten in my entire life, but I still appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I was trying not to overpower you.
No,
You're
yeah,
still in
no,
the
I
middle of
got
your
you.
point.
I got you.
There. We'll do that.
Thank you. That was much more hearty.
Yeah. But I mean, we are resilient creatures, and I think, like, our minds so often make it so we don't believe our own hype, so to speak, a lot of the time.
Yeah.
We're our own toughest critics. We're hardest on ourselves. We deal with shame and guilt just for, showing up and doing things our way a lot of the time, even if it's not necessarily what's, what's the popular societal convention. I know I've dealt with this a lot myself, where it's like, I honestly, like, I'll tell you right now, when I first took this leap at the beginning of 2021, into being full-time, all in on this, there were definitely certain relatives that I did not tell, you
Mm.
know, because I felt a lot of shame around it. I was already thinking of what they would say to me, how they would react to it. But as time has gone on and I've just owned it, you know, it's been freeing for me to just not have to keep that in, you know,
Yeah.
because, you know, in my case, you know, I've seen a lot of criticism, you know, for this entire run from certain people who may or may not still be in my life about what I'm doing. You know, it'd always be the first thing they'd attack when they had a problem with me, you know? And after a while, it's like you start to see your own growth. You start to really get a sense of what's right for you and go in the direction of that. And if somebody doesn't accept that about you, if somebody doesn't accept what you're doing, how you're showing up, but you know it's right and you know that you're doing it with the best of intentions for the right reasons, keep going in that direction. You know, if you're not hurting anybody, keep going in that direction. You know, I tell artists all the time, your audience will find you, you'll find your audience. And your audience is not everybody. You know? Like there are people who I'm sure don't like what I do. You know?
I don't like what you do. Just kidding.
Like
I love what you do.
I'm sure there are people who don't though, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like I think, you know, for a long time and, you know, for most of this run, honestly, you know, up till the past year or two, I would have thought, okay, how do I cater it to them too? No, that's not what I want to do now. I don't care about catering it to people who aren't going to fuck with it anyway. I care about who's my audience, who am I connecting with, who's going to form that genuine connection with what this platform's about. And it's so much more freeing to focus your energy on that than to worry about people pleasing everyone else, you know? And that's been a big thing for me this year is just like getting away from the people pleasing, going where the good energy is. You know, we are going to put that on a shirt decree, by the way. He keeps telling me I need to put that on a shirt.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Merch details coming soon. I'm working all that out, but like go where the good energy is, go where you feel this sense of growth, you know, go where you feel this sense of kinship.
What's the word the kids use these days? Vibes.
Go where the good vibes are.
Look, you've said that word a couple times since I've been here. And like, whenever that word leaves my mouth, it just doesn't feel genuine. I just feel too old for that word.
For the longest time, I felt the same way. But I don't know. I've felt different vibes lately.
Oh, Lord. I don't know. I just, that word seems so unnatural for me because I'm old.
You know what it is for me? Lit. I don't call things lit. And I don't say bet either.
Oh, shit.
There's apparently some kind of emergency signal going off over there. I don't know what it is. JD's going to go check that out. In the meantime, I just want to remind everybody to please support Underground Music Collective this holiday season by donating to the Underground Rising campaign via your tax-deductible donation through the Arts and Business Council of Greater Nashville. That allows us to continue telling artist stories and offering perspectives like this one you're hearing today on the Quinn Spinn. Back to the show. What a fill, huh?
Look,
that was beautiful.
If there was one person to have on the show that something like that would happen for, it should be me.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if y'all heard that, but yeah, I guess your phone started.
That was there's actually a nuke dropping in that. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh boy, we got bigger problems.
Yeah, first of all, I need to change that ringtone for that alarm.
It's pretty alarming.
Yeah.
It's pretty alarming. Hey
God.
now.
Oh Lord.
See, there's some of that OG fam zaniness sneaking its way into this episode. It's got to.
So that alarm, I was I'm not really doing it nearly as much now, but I was trying intermittent fasting. And I was giving myself a window from 3:30 to I forgot shit. What time? Oh yeah, 3:30 to 7:30 to eat. I said I'd eat at 3:30, at 5:30, at 7:30, and I gave myself a 15-minute warning. So I set my alarm for 3:15 and 7:15. So, and then I told myself before we left here that I needed to turn it off, and I didn't. So
well, it gave a great moment for the show. Number one, number two, it allowed me to plug the initiative. So thank you.
Yeah, that was all part of the plan.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I set that alarm 3 months ago for this very moment.
I just did a live read for Underground Rising in the middle of the episode.
And you did it without a prompter, without anything.
I mean,
you did that shit from the can.
I've been doing this for almost 10 years. I better be good at it by now. You know. To be fair,
So, yeah.
like if I couldn't segue like that, like what am I doing with the past decade of my life? You know, at this point.
No, you do a good job.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. I was about to say I'm sorry for derailing the show, but
that's kind of your job.
that's my shtick.
That's your whole thing.
It's my gimmick.
Yeah,
To use a wrestling term.
It's over with the fans.
Is it though?
Yeah, I'm a mark for it. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of my own show.
Okay, yeah.
Fan of my own brand,
I like
if
my
you
own
will.
posts on Facebook.
Yeah. No, I don't do that. I do like the Underground Music Collective and Quinn Spinn post because
that's fair.
You know.
Yeah, those are two separate entities.
Yes, exactly. And it's not me liking a Gerard post. It's me liking an organization's post that I just so happen to own.
You're part of the Underground Music Collective cinematic universe.
Exactly.
The UMCCU.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that a palindrome, actually?
UMCCU, no.
Oh,
it would be
it's close.
UMCMU.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's close, though.
Yeah.
It's close.
It is. But yeah, I don't say bet either to get back to that. You know, it just doesn't feel natural.
Bet.
I don't.
Bet.
No, I just say okay. Like, what's wrong with okay? Why do we have to be hip?
What?
But then I said vibes.
I just literally thought about Lil Jon saying okay.
Like, okay.
Yeah, I didn't want to scream into the mic.
It's okay. It's okay. I got it.
Hey.
So, you know, a little history with Lil Jon. Should I tell them? Should I drop this bomb on them?
I mean, you do interview music artists, and this is the closest thing we've ever been to music artists, so I guess.
This is the tie-in to the music industry.
I'm going to put my hood up for this. I'm embarrassed.
So, back in the day, in high school,
I'm scared.
There was a group of us who either didn't get into the boys a cappella group, known as the Noteworthies, at our high school, or quit the a cappella group, known as the Noteworthies.
That one was me.
So, or just never auditioned. Adam never auditioned. So we just started our own called the Reject Noteworthies. And there was this annual coffee house event in the cafeteria. And we arranged a version of Usher's Yeah, featuring Lil Jon and Ludacris.
Yeah, we did.
That was a cappella. And so it started off doot 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 doot, like we all a cappella. JD was Usher.
A very poor Usher.
Our friend B-Wags was Lil Jon, and he just yelled, yeah, the entire time. And I was Ludacris. Because I told you all to watch out, my outfit's ridiculous, in the club looking so conspicuous, and wow, these women all on the prowl. If you hold it steady, I'm a milk the cow. Forget about game, I'm gonna spit the truth. I won't stop till they get them in their birthday suits. Give me the real man to be off of the clothes and bend over to the front. Touch your toes. I left the jacket, I took the rolls and vein cutting, then I put them on foot patrol. How you like me now? I'm a pick is valued over 300,000. Let's drink you the one to please. Of course, fill cup like double D's. Me and Ursula, what's wrong when it leaves them dead? One of the ladies in the street, but a freak in the bed.
I'm not singing it.
And then we said, yeah.
I'm not singing it.
And then I took that and rewound it back. JD got the voice to make your booty go.
Oh, my God.
B-Wags had the beat to make your booty go.
Do you know what the funny part is?
G-Rod had the flow to make your booty go.
Do you know what the funny part is right now?
What's that?
I'm more embarrassed about that story than I was talking about my mental health struggles.
For good reason. It wasn't good. But because of the absolute...
It physically hurts. You know, I'm very aware of the physical manifestation that this has in my body right now.
The absolute abject embarrassment of the Reject Noteworthy story.
Oh, my God.
And the thing is, it wasn't good, but because it was so ridiculous, we got the loudest cheers in the night for that. So we did beat the Noteworthies at their own game.
Did. Oh, my God.
Yeah. It was memorable. If nothing else.
It was something.
I mean, here we're still trying to figure out what. It was
definitely a musical performance that has happened in this world.
It was a thing that happened.
I don't know if it was the best or the worst, but it happened.
Yeah, it definitely happened.
I definitely sang a song that was completely out of my vocal range.
Mm-hmm. And I rapped, and you just heard how well that goes for me.
You're not gonna hear me sing, nah.
Yeah. To be fair though, like I was trying not to laugh as I was watching your reaction as I did that.
I was literally face palming.
Yeah. So
the whole time. If y'all are listening on audio only.
Yeah. So that kind of interrupted my flow a little bit, and I really hope like the copyright trolls don't come after me for doing that.
Well, I think ASCAP or BMI might come after you for some royalties.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think the music police might come after me for just completely butchering that.
Nah.
No, it was okay. It was certainly better than I did it during that performance.
I don't remember, so I don't have anything to judge it on.
I remember somebody coming up to me after that and be like, yeah, my sister was at the coffee house and she said you're a terrible rapper. And at that point in my life, certainly at that point
why
in my
would
life,
you say that?
Oh, that kid was a dick. But
That actually, you reminded me of another story I had.
oh boy.
My freshman year of college, most of my friends, we were all part of the same department, the Creative Arts and Technology department,
Yeah.
but most of them were all video game design majors. But everybody in the Creative Arts and Technology department had to take video production at some point. So they chose to do it their freshman year of college. And they, had to go out and film videos, various things. And I had told them when we first met that I had done theater in high school. So like, oh, you did theater, like you should be. So I was in basically all of my friends' videos for this class. And one of the first ones I was doing, someone else that was a girl that was in the same dorm as us, the freshman dorm, she stops and watches the scene. And then when we cut the scene, she looks at me and she's like, have you ever taken acting lessons? I'm like, no, I never have. She's like, you need to. And then just walked away. I'm like, okay, fuck you.
Yeah,
I literally
right?
held a grudge against her
Yeah.
like the rest of the time I was in college. Like I never, like I just hated her guts.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't say, that's a really strong word. I every time I saw her, I just thought of that moment.
Yeah.
And then the other funny part about that story is by the time I eventually decided to take that class my junior year, because I'd also appeared in other people's videos that took it sophomore year of high school, of college.
Same thing, high school, college. I mean, really,
but
college is not the real world, y'all.
Yeah. When I finally showed up in the fall of junior year, he's like, I walk in, he's like, hey, I know you. I'm like, no, you don't. He's like, you're in everyone's videos. I'm like, yeah, I'm here finally. I was kind of already known by the professor because I was in everybody's videos.
The celebrity walks in.
No.
An on-campus celebrity.
No. I was not a celebrity. I mean, I was the closest thing to popular you could get in college, but like, what the fuck does that even mean?
College is a strange time because it's fantasy land. It really
is.
It really is. Like you're sold on it as, yeah, this is like a taste of the real world. No, it's not.
And, yeah, it's college is almost like a fever dream too, because like getting back to the mental health shit, like I actually was probably the best I ever was mental health wise in college.
You really did seem to thrive in college.
I thrived in college.
Yeah.
High school fucking sucked, but I seemed to thrive in college. And then like, yeah. And I don't know if that was just because like, I mean, I don't think it was because I was doing anything good or like I had the awareness or like, it's just like, I don't know. Shit was just fun.
Yeah, it's fun and it's just a change of pace from what you're used to. You can kind of go recreate, redefine yourself in a way.
Yeah.
You know? And I had a similar experience in college to the point where it was like, yeah, it's just this like anomaly in my life where like I wasn't really concerned with much. I wasn't really terribly ambitious, by my standard. Like I was just kind of living life and vibing. I was vibing, to use that word again. And it was like it was just this like, because high school I was just the headstrong John McEnroe of West Morris Central High School.
The John McEnroe of
mostly because of my attitude problem in high school. But
I never was beholden to your attitude problem.
I mean, I had a chip on my shoulder, especially when it came to football.
I do remember that.
Especially when it came to football. I had a chip on my shoulder.
But it was never pointed at me because I never did any of that shit. Right. Because I didn't play football.
Right.
I do remember that.
I always felt a need to fight my way up the totem pole, know, as it were, in that dynamic. And, I stuck it out for 4 years and, I'm glad I did. I mean, it taught me so much. And I mean, those guys, I consider them brothers now, but back in the day, man, like there was a lot of button heads, because I kept trying to like prove that I belonged those 4 years.
Did I tell you that the football coach at our high school was also taught me driving?
Yeah.
I took the driving lessons from him.
Coach Henley. Shout out to Coach Henley.
Yeah, shout out Coach Henley.
Really, shout out to Coach Henley, because that guy put up with more of my crap than any man should.
He's still there, too.
He is.
I looked him up. I actually looked up our high school a couple months ago, and he's still there.
Yeah, they just won another state championship.
Yeah.
They went undefeated. Like they were so good this because I follow once in a while. I check in and out. I live here, so I can't go to any games really. But like they were number 12 in New York State for some reason, according to some ranking system.
But there were
exactly
it's in New Jersey.
They're in New Jersey, but like they were so good that they were like ranked in New York this year. Like they were really, really good.
It's like, hey, this team over here in New Jersey is pretty good. We should put them. I'm getting canceled.
Maybe it was just like the New York region. I don't know
why I did that.
I don't know. Like maybe it was just the New York region. Like
the tri-state area,
the metro. But like they were ranked, and I'm like, it's always been a really good football program, and I'm very fortunate to have been a part of it because it did give me a sense of drive and purpose that I didn't have before that. And it really informs a lot of what you see, going into UMC. It's just I'm not as chippy about it now. I'm a lot more nuanced in my advanced age.
I think that's also how we became polar opposites in terms of our drive.
Athletics, I'll tell you, athletics do help with it.
Yeah, well, there was a moment in history back then when Coach Henley actually was trying to get me to play football.
I do remember this.
And I said no.
Yeah.
So imagine if I had said yes.
Imagine if you had said yes.
I'd
go back and change it, though.
I'd probably be a quarterback in the NFL.
You had a good arm. Because I remember the Gravy Bowls we
Still
used to
do.
play. Yeah?
Still do, baby.
Well,
I can throw a football over them trees.
Yeah.
I'm Uncle Rico.
All the way over to the rude-ass train.
Yeah, I probably could.
And then send it off the rails.
And then I've played plenty of Madden in my time. I can read coverages.
Mm-hmm.
It's not remotely close to what any quarterback.
I'm good at Madden. I can do this.
Yeah, I'd whoop your ass in Madden.
I don't know. I was pretty good at Madden. I haven't played in like 10, 12 years, but
I played
in my heyday.
I last time I played is probably a couple years ago.
Yeah, in my heyday, I was fire at Madden. I could destroy.
We played some NBA Jam and NFL Blitz at the
over at Uptown,
the Barcade last night.
I was trash at NFL Blitz. That was bad.
You were pretty bad, but at the same time, had you ever played NFL Blitz before?
Yeah.
Oh, you had?
I was just terrible. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
NBA Jam was close though.
You
beat me by 2.
No, 1.
1.
It was 1 point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was close.
Yeah.
It was like tied at the end of every quarter, and then you scored it like in the last 10 seconds.
No, my CPU controlled teammate scored.
Oh, that's true.
he had like 46 of our like 52 points.
Yep. Yeah. I was the Utah Jazz, Malone and Stockton.
And I was the Seattle Supersonics, which no longer exist.
Yeah.
I was Sean Kemp and not Detlef Schrempf. I made a mistake and didn't pick him. I don't know what the other guy's name was.
I don't remember either.
But Sean Kemp was our my CPU controlled player that scored like 46 of our 52 points.
Yeah. Well,
but
it all worked out. You won. You were victorious.
Yeah, but what did I get for it?
Bragging rights?
I don't like those.
No.
I don't like to brag.
Well, then nothing.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
So
anyway, to get it back on the rails quick.
Yeah, so should we I did bring something from the OG Quinn Spinn family stuff.
Yeah. Shall we get to it?
Do you want to feel good?
Yes.
I want to feel good?
But let's conclude with that. I'll give them something for their ears.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Because we always end with feeling good when JD's on the show. So, leave you feeling good out there, if you know what I mean.
Did you just wink at them?
I sure did. I wink at this camera more than I should. Pretty creepy.
Yeah, which I think the amount you should is 0.
Yeah. Any winking is just unacceptable. Nobody, especially the click with it. And even worse if I did the gun and wink.
Oh, God.
Yeah, the gun and wink.
Oh, God.
Which I just did, and I'm going to do again.
No.
I did it. How many times have I made you cringe on this episode? This has been fun.
A lot.
I've just gotten to be a complete jackass.
It's the perfect hybrid of what you normally do with the guests, with serious shit with mental health, and then just the off-the-walls, batshit crazy, zany shit we do with the OG Quinn Spinn family.
See, it's all coming into this gumbo pot that is the Quinn Spinn.
It's an amalgamation. Yeah.
Which is this is the perfect episode to send us into year 10 overdrive now. Because we're in year 10, but now it gets real because the calendar year turns over to the actual year where we will celebrate our 10th birthday in a few weeks.
Yeah. Over under on how long it's going to take me to write the correct year when I sign something. How long do you think it's going to take me? Because that always happens.
Well, I don't know how long it usually takes you. So I'm going to say January 29th.
That is, first of all, that's the nicest thing anyone's ever said.
Ever.
Because it usually happens like in May.
May?
Yes. So thank you. That was quite the compliment.
January 29th.
Okay.
That's my bet.
Yeah. The other thing, too, is I don't sign very many things.
Yeah, there's really no need to anymore.
Yeah, you probably sign lots of shit.
Digitally.
Oh, that's right. Digitally.
Like, there's no paper anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
We're saving the trees
now. That just threw a
now.
wrench into everything.
Yeah, we're saving the environment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So January 29th. All right, I'll let you know.
Let me know.
Yeah, and you at home, I'm getting your engagement up, getting y'all engaged. You at home, how long does it take you to finally write down the right year when you sign something?
Let us know. As a matter of fact,
know.
that's going to be the poll question on this week's Spotify episode.
Can you do like 12 options for each month of the year? Maybe just do the first 6.
I don't know how many options it gives me. I doubt it gives me 12.
Okay.
I could leave it open-ended, though.
Yeah, you could.
I can leave it open-ended because, like, you could do a poll and then you could do a question in the episode. So I'll do it as the question. People can answer it however they want.
It's a much better poll question than the one I was originally thinking.
What were you originally thinking?
Are you dead inside? Yes or no? I'd put yes.
That could be the poll question, and the open-end question could be. We're gonna roll with it. We're gonna roll with it.
Are you wait? You're really gonna put that up there? Are you dead inside?
I can.
Don't do that.
I can. We gonna say yes, no, maybe, and sometimes.
Maybe. I don't know if I'm dead inside. I don't really know how to check.
Anything going on in there?
Don't put that.
I was about to make that even more appropriate, but instead, let's get to something for your ears. I was about to knock on something else. Anyway, something for your ears this week is the recently updated Underground Holiday Hits playlist from Underground Music Collective. I update this every year with independent music released by artists in our community that are holiday themed. All holidays, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. This is our Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa super playlist, everybody.
Nice.
Underground Holiday Hits, new additions and old favorites this year at Underground Music Collective. And now JD is going to leave us feeling good.
I got my laptop for this.
I just winked again.
I don't care. I don't want to know.
If you ignore it, it goes away.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's why I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But this week's Feeling Good is Christmas themed.
Ooh.
How do you like that?
Mm-hmm. Just like our show with these wonderful decorations.
So there was a bit of a crisis that happened in a home. You know those Elf on the Shelves?
Mm-hmm. I ate 3 last week. They were delicious.
Wait, what?
Go on.
So this mom, my mind is fucked right now. I don't know what just happened.
It tastes like peppermint. Go on.
Mom discovers an elf on the shelf mysteriously lost a leg, so she concocted an elaborate ruse to keep the magic alive. Are you okay, Quinn?
That almost came out of my nose. Go on.
Oh,
keep going.
yeah. Well.
Keep going.
So a mom discovered that her son's elf on the shelf had mysteriously lost a leg while he was in school. So she spent hours concocting an elaborate backstory to keep the magic alive. Because, you're not supposed to touch them.
Mm-hmm.
If you touch them, the kid doesn't get any presents.
The magic goes away.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So Lauren Weir introduced the elf toy to her 4-year-old son Tommy for the first time on December 1st. But that evening, she was horrified to discover that his right leg had been torn off and was now nowhere to be found. I completely panicked, she said. It was only day 1 and was already so in love. I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I didn't have time to go out and get a new one. If I didn't fix it, I knew he'd be devastated. Yet I knew if it had lost a leg, he'd just accept it. But it needed to have a story for why it was gone. The 30-year-old then scrambled to salvage her son's beloved elf by stitching closed the hole so that the white stuffing wasn't showing. Then she came up with an imaginative cover story to explain the missing limb. I feel like I need to read this entire article because it's almost like a Christmas story in itself.
Yeah, go for it.
So she staged a dinosaur attack using the schoolboy's toys and explained that the naughty beasts had eaten the elf's leg, rendering him an amputee.
See, I told you they're delicious.
You did say that.
Yeah.
He was so excited when he came downstairs the next day. He was like, where's his leg? And I was like, the dinosaurs must have eaten it. Eventually, He grabbed his Iron Man action figure to fight back and teach the naughty dinosaurs a lesson. The boy in Hertfordshire, England, thinks it's great that his elf survived a dinosaur attack, and the ruse has led to more fun surprises. When Tommy expressed worry about how his elf would get around without his leg, the creative mom put in a call to Santa and had an elf-sized wheelchair delivered the next day. He was concerned about how the elf was going to get around having only one leg, so I made a call to Santa in front of him and requested that he send some crutches or a wheelchair to the elf. Lauren posted a video about the toys ordeal online with the caption, "This elf is going to take over my life," after spending hours stitching his leg and building a Lego wheelchair. The next day, when the boy came down, the elf was sitting on his wheelchair throne, which could be pushed to roll around the house. Santa's really good at making Lego wheelchairs, cooed Tommy. I love the use of the word cooed. The wheelchair took ages because I was trying to be quiet, sifting through the Legos because it's so noisy, trying to make it from Christmas colors, red and green. And finally, she says, "I'm praying that the leg doesn't turn up because then I'm going to have to really rack my brain to cover that up somehow." So, do y'all have Elf on the Shelves in your family?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a pretty cute story about people are so creative.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
And it's keeping the holiday cheer
Exactly.
where it needs to be. Just like us here at the Quinn Spinn. Thank you, JD, for coming on.
Thank you for
sharing your
having me.
story. We'll do this again.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously,
Now we're going to get some food.
we are. We're going to Hawkers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you are listening to the Quinn Spinn. 2 N's in Quinn, 2 N's in Spin. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor, Stitcher, YouTube, OnlyFans, and more.
Wait, what? What was that last one?
You can also learn more about the show at undergroundmusiccollective.com, our central hub for all things independent music, naughty elves, and more. You can also learn more about UMC on all the socials, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube. Follow the UMC 20 playlist on Spotify and that Underground Holiday Hits playlist. Of course, that one updated, but once a year, UMC 20 updated every single Tuesday with 20 fresh tracks and the latest episode of this very zany podcast. NashLive.live got some show announcements coming up for 2023. Going full steam ahead. I'm ready. I'm ready for 2023. It's going to be a great year. It's year 10 of this show. And maybe one of those Nash Live show announcements will be tied in to our 10th birthday. I guess you'll have to find out next year. Revel 9's all I've become. Oh, wait. Did you want to give people the socials per usual?
No.
Okay. Revel 9's All I've Become is our closing theme song as well as our opening theme song. Going to take us out just like it brought us in. Grab some muffins on the way out.
See you later.
I will take it.